Hamzat Chimaev, my boy. He decided to go ahead with a fight this weekend against Kevin Holland, despite the fact that he weighed as much as 8 pounds over during the weigh-ins against Nate Diaz. And to me, this is just a complete representation of the fallacy of the UFC. It's starting to feel a little bit like a WWE arranged fight kind of wrestling match where the predetermined winner is already there. We might as well have filmed Chimaev in advance and raised his hand because an overweight Chimaev that has been training like a beast and is 10 pounds overweight means that he probably fought at close to 190 pounds when he fought Kevin Holland. Now, Kevin Holland himself is not a small chap. We all know that his wrestling is pretty crap in general. Makes me think of what Chimaev would have done to Nate Diaz because Kevin Holland is the younger, stronger, bigger guy. Nate Diaz against Tony Ferguson also looked like a complete joke. It was two completely washed up fighters, basically rolling around the arena, out of breath, fat, not looking like the warriors that we used to know and love them for. Nate Diaz, obviously, in his Conor McGregor fight, we loved what we saw. I ain't surprised, motherfuckers. Tony Ferguson, you remember what he did to some of his opponents? One of the immediate ones that comes to mind is Anthony Pettis, making me think that the UFC has just become about the clicks and about the views rather than the fight per se. And I'm disappointed. I left that main event feeling very disappointed that I had stayed up. The fights here in South Africa air at 3 a.m. and now I have to come watch this absolute nonsense on my screen while Chimaev is busy ragdolling Kevin Holland in the fight before. And you've got to think, us as fans, you left so disappointed, and there's not a lot we can do. You tune in every week because you want to see the best of the best fight each other and ultimately get to those title fights where the belt is on the line, and then it's just two guys going to war and producing epic battles. And the last few UFC events to me have not felt like that. Also had a 300-pound absolute beast of a man in the form of Chris Barnett. And I must say, that is entertainment. Watching a 300-pound man knock out the other lad and then perform the most hilarious front flip somersault onto his ass must be one of the greatest things that we as human beings can see.
Back with some combinations, and then he lets John Vellante back in. Chris Barnett trying to close out his first UFC win. My goodness. Oh my goodness.
And that's what I would pay my money for, is to watch more fights like that with characters such as that. What is next for Chimaev? You've got to wonder, is he able to make weight at 170? And if he's not, what's the point? Are we just going to be left with every UFC fight where Chimaev is fighting having to reshuffle because Chimaev is too big to fight at that weight class? And he looks hell-bent for his fight against Leon Edwards. But to me, he destroys Leon Edwards because he's just too big. So if he gets his weight cut right, I mean, by the time he's fighting on Saturday night, that man's 190, 200 pounds, where Leon Edwards is probably sitting at 180 pounds. So it's just an interesting spot that we're at. There were talks of banning Chimaev from future 170-pound matches, forcing him to go to middleweight. That might make sense, or potentially create a catch weight. But I know that Dano is never going to do that. As for Nate Diaz, I'm kind of happy that we don't get to see him in the UFC anymore. I think he's done. He's high at every press conference, and yes, we've got the Diaz army behind him, who are diehard and will probably kill me if they see this video. But to me, the image of Nate Diaz has been tarnished. The description that Conor McGregor gave of Nate Diaz is starting to ring true. You're throwing gang signs with the right hand and making party balloons with the left hand. And it feels a lot like that. He seems like somebody at the end of his career that's now looking to do something else. And he's not that hardcore fighter that we saw before. The trilogy with Conor might be the two most washed up lads fighting each other. And all in all, it's a bit of a sad time for the UFC. But I thought I'd give these thoughts to you buggers. If you like this content, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more.